Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach. Today, we are excited to speak with AQHA and NSBA world champion Meg Pye. Meg has been a top competitor in multiple events on multiple different horses. Her ability to ride and show has inspired me for years, and the energy she brings to the pen is contagious. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to have you on.
Thank you, girls. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. So tell us a little bit about your season. There were a lot of ups, I feel like, in the summer. You won a lot of events and you were kind of coming into championship season strong. And then just life happens. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, we had our first baby. Baby Noah was born the end of March. So my show season this year started in May. So I was a little slow to the gates as far as getting back in it. So honestly, our first show was just me remembering what to do. And hoping that my body was going to cooperate. But we had some challenges, just, me being out of shape and Marley being tired and all the things that you would imagine from having 8 months off. But, we got back in the swing of things rather quickly. We had a really successful Big A. We won all of our showmanships unanimous there. Really started clicking. Went to the NSBA World Show, did pretty decent. And then Congress, we really, I was excited because Congress for us is always tough because as much as I love Marley to death, so Marley is my mare, don't think twice, and she's very special. She's special in a lot of ways. She's beautiful, she's very talented, and she's quirky. And the quirkiness makes her special. It makes her you watch her because her ears are always forward and she always has that real snake-like look when she's in the pen. However, that's the cattiness to her that makes her quirky, and the Celeste Arena is the death of her. But we were able to make it around the Celeste in the Western Riding and in the trail, and we did not spook. And we ended up
That's
placing
awesome.
6, I know, 6 in the Western Riding and 3rd in the trail, and I literally
That's amazing.
I was over the moon. I mean, she screwed me so hard in the amateur showmanship. I was so mad at her.
Oh
I could have
no.
beat her back to Georgia, but I didn't. I got over it very quickly because she was so good in both the Western Riding and the trail, and she thought about it. Like, we got to that end corner in the trail, and we were doing, our left lead lopes, and she, like, sucked up and started to, like, scoot to the left, and I was just like, "You're fine," and I held my leg there, and she just kept wrapping around there. I'm like, "Oh, thank God we got through," because normally that's when she runs to the left.
Oh no.
Good
So
job.
needless to say, we were, very happy with our Congress placings, and just overall, we were really clicking. Excited to go to the World Show, and, got a really scary phone call from Clint and Dr. Sherry. I was on the couch feeding Noah, and, Preston said, "Clint's calling me." I said, "Clint's calling you?" He said, "Yeah." So I looked at my phone, I said, "Well, Clint called me." And we missed the call, and then I saw Sherry called me, and I was like, "Oh god, there's a problem." So I
Yeah.
answered the phone, and, Sherry just said, Meg, Marley's on the way to Oak Ridge." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "She called on the trailer. We did everything we could here. She's on the way. She's stable," and then just kind of explained everything that happened, and then next thing you know, I think it was like 2 in the morning, I got a call from the vet at Oak Ridge saying that they were gonna have to do surgery because she wasn't getting any better.
Wow.
So, that was the unfortunate news that we got, Sunday, and I was supposed to fly out Tuesday to get ready for the showmanship prelims, AKA final, that were supposed to happen on Thursday of the, World Show. So, that was the whole, show season for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
A
Wow.
lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, it was short. We had a good summer, and we went into the fall with a bang, and then we closed out with a bang.
Yeah. yeah, I don't even know where to start. I kind of want to start with having your beautiful baby boy and what that transition was like, and then maybe we can get to the world show and having the colic and kind of dealing with the stress of that.
Yeah, I mean, I am an older mom, so when they say that you're a geriatric pregnancy, that's actually a thing. And don't take offense. It just means that you're over the age of 35. So I was a geriatric pregnancy, waited a long time before I was able to have my first baby, but he's wonderful. My little ginger, my little blue-eyed ginger. We have no idea where the red hair came from, but everyone's like, "Does he have red hair?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he does." But he's wonderful and it's been great. It's definitely slowed me down in a good way. I'm definitely an A type personality, both in business and life and in horses. Just, hey, do you want to go to the show? Hey, do you want to travel here? Hey, do you want to take over this meeting? And so on and so forth. And I was always down to do what needed to be done. And that changes when you have a child and it changes for the better. It's no longer about you, it's about them. And I've really had an opportunity to focus on Noah and my family and, put horses to the side and say, hey, as much as I would really love to go to this horse show, I don't need to go to the horse show. I can't be away another week. And, on every single Facebook group there, everyone talks about how sick and tired they are to be away for horse shows, 3, 4 weeks at a time. And everyone wishes, the 2 to 3 day horse shows were back in. And, I couldn't agree more because it really does stink to be away from your family for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. So I've just really kind of prioritized family and Noah first, even though he's been a great horse show baby. He came to the NSB World Show. Preston, my husband, and Noah and I flew out together and he's never met a stranger. I mean, he would go to anybody and he's just everyone's best friend. And he got to sit on a lot of horses and make a lot of friends.
Oh,
And he went to the Congress. So, I mean, he has gone to the horse show. So it's definitely helped that he's an easy baby and that he's willing to go with me. And don't get me wrong, it's exhausting. And people are like, Meg, I give you all the kudos that you brought him alone because of the Congress. Preston wasn't able to go. So I did it by myself. Thank the good Lord that I have a wonderful barn family because they very much helped me while I was practicing because I'm like, hey, here's the baby, gotta go. So I would just drop him off in someone's lap and they would entertain him while I would go practice or while I would go horse show because I wouldn't be able to obviously show without having the support of a great Barton family. So it's been wonderful to have that support of them and thankfully he's just a really kind of laid back good baby and he's able to just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
oh, that's so sweet. Also, they need to come up with a better term other than a geriatric pregnancy. That's
I know.
terrible.
Right? You're like, "Oh, thank you."
Like, they can't come up with something better.
Right?
Like, you hear that, and you're
You're
like,
like, "Hey,
"Oh,
you old
wow."
lady." "Oh, there's an old lady having a baby." I'm like, "Well, thank you very much."
Oh my gosh. So, what has it been like coming back to riding and showing after having a baby? Was it just like hopping right back on the bike, or did it take a little bit of adjustments to get back into it? What was that like for you?
It takes adjustments for sure. I mean, I Congress last year was my last horse show. I was 22 weeks pregnant at the Congress last year.
Wow.
Um, and I tripped in the showmanship finals.
Oh no.
And almost well, actually, no, in the showmanship prelims, I apologize. In the showmanship prelims on the way out of the pen, like, we had to do, like,
Oh
a
no.
360 or something and then extended trot out, and my balance was totally off, and I tripped and almost fell on my face, and the whole crowd did, like, a like, "Oh god, the pregnant lady," you know? So I will tell you that my balance, even not pregnant, took a little while to get my feet back underneath me, and just
Yeah.
from not being able I mean, I'm a pretty I say I'm a pretty athletic person, like, I go to the gym a lot, we do CrossFit, we do all the things, that's what Preston and I do in our spare time, so I would like to say that I'm a relatively fit individual, but when you're pregnant, I did work out the whole time I was pregnant, so I stayed pretty fit, but that means nothing. I mean, when you're running in the dirt, you both know, I mean, the showmanship takes a lot out of you, riding, your
Yes.
hip strength, the way you sit in the saddle. I mean, all the things. At the NSBA World Show, I watched my horsemanship and my core was really weak. I mean, just things. I mean, I had a C-section. Let's talk about that, why don't we? So
Oh,
I had a
wow.
C-section.
Yeah, what was that recovery like?
Well, that's 7 layers of muscle that they had to cut through,
Yeah.
and I had 6 months that I couldn't do hardly any activity because you
Wow.
have to recover, like, really, really good from that because you could really damage your abdomen if you don't take a really steady recovery. So riding was a challenge, just keeping your core still, and horsemanship isn't my forte, so I try really hard anyway to try to keep everything very still. So just having your core ripped open and then having to maintain a strong and solid core was really, really
Yeah.
tough. I mean, eventually I feel like it's coming back, and I feel, Clint was very happy with where we were at the Congress, and like we made the horsemanship finals, and we were going in the right direction, and that's why we were super excited for the world show. And but I mean, it takes a lot out of you. I mean, having a baby is no joke, and it definitely took some time just to get back in the swing of things. And then you realize it's so funny. I was talking to one of my other friends, and we were just looking at the different groups of riders in the pen, and you just realize how old you are when you see, a group of amateurs come in, and they're the youth, right? They're like the 19 and 20-year-olds, and they're coming in and they're doing the same pattern as you are, and they're running way faster than you are, and you're like, "Gosh, that used to be me back in the day." And then you add on top the fact that you just had a baby, and you're like, "Ooh, God, I got a lot of work to do."
Well, you still, I feel like, bring the energy and bring the speed every time I watch you.
Oh, I
I
listen here, because that's because 'cause I'm a crazy person, and I tell myself, "Meg, you gotta bring the energy, you gotta be serious, you have to be serious." So I try to, but it's because everyone else around me pushes me to be better.
Absolutely. Like, so mentally, how do you gear yourself up for that? I know that you said that you're a type A person, and so you're probably already geared towards that a little bit. But is there anything in particular that you will do before you go into that showmanship class to get you hyped up?
I mean, showmanship in particular, because it's my favorite, but even in the trail and the Western riding, I'll just keep telling myself it's mine to lose. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go
Mhm.
in there and be like, I'm the winner today. Like, this is my pattern. It's good for my horse. She's on, I'm on, it's mine to lose. And I tell myself that because, I'm the person that I have to beat. And as long as I just keep telling myself that I just need to be better and all the things that Clint and I practiced, I need to be better at my setup. My stop needs to be sharper. My square quarter needs to be tighter. And I just continue to pick at myself and get myself tighter and better. That kind of helps me. I obviously look at the other people. I look at the Eric's, I look at the Kalinas, look at the Katie Joes, and I look around and I'm like, all right, so here's what they're doing. But I mean, yes, obviously it's competition, but I don't look at them that way. I mean, obviously I admire and appreciate they're all friends, but to me, like my biggest competition, I just tell myself, Meg, it's yours to lose. Like you can win this. You just have to be good. Like just go out there and do what you do. And sometimes I get in my own head and I get in my own way and I end up doing something stupid and that's my own fault. And I've always been good. And I feel like Clint and Keith would both tell you that I'm never one to blame anybody else. Like I'm pretty good at falling on my own sword. I'm pretty good to say that was my fault. I did that. I asked her to do that. I'm the one to put my body that way, or, I used my leg wrong, or whatever the case may be. So I'm always just trying to beat myself and where I was the last class or the last horse show or whatever the last practice was.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's the best way to kind of do it because you can't control how the other exhibitors do or what their horses do or whether or not a pattern is more suited to them or to you. All you can do is try to do it to the best of your ability and know that the best of your ability is capable of being at the top and you just kind of let the pieces fall where they may after you do your part, right? Like so that's I love that mindset.
And you just have to keep reminding yourself, it's the group of judges. I mean, you're gonna have people who like you, and they're gonna have people that are gonna hate you, and you're gonna get a mix of I mean, you're gonna see it where you're 1st and you're 6th, and you're like, "How did that happen?" And it's just all about what they're looking for, and sometimes it's your day, and sometimes it's not, and unfortunately, that's what we pay for.
Yeah, when you see something like that, how do you know when to stick with your style versus, "Hmm, maybe I should change a little bit? Do you just rely on Clint, or do you believe in yourself, or how do you
It's
decide
very
that?
f it's very funny because Clint is very good with that. So when I came back in May and we went to the premiere, that was our first tour show, I was rushing my transitions, and I was rushing into things. I was rushing into my turn, I wasn't completing my like, I was just everything looked very fluid in a bad way, in my opinion, and this is just how I look at showmanship. I feel like every transition needs to be completed, and it has to look like we stopped, we're turning, we're backing, and the pattern that I did for the, premiere whatever the money class was, I have no idea what it was, premiere, magazine class, I rushed, like, I don't know if I was just it was my first showmanship class back after being out for 8 months, and I was just like, "Alright," and I was watching everybody else, and everyone else was just super rushy, and I was like, "Okay, Meg, you just gotta be out go out there and be super rushy." And I did, and Clint was like, "Why did you do that?" And I said, I don't know." He's like, "You don't copy the" he said, "You don't that's not you, and that's not what looks good, and just because this group of judges may reward that," he said, "that does not look pretty." And so Clint is very good about keeping you what looks good for you, what looks good for your horse, what has made you successful. So he's very, very good and very, very honest about like, "Hey, this is what looks good for you and your horse. This is what got you here. This is what got you your globe. And you need to be true to yourself and your style. And rushing your transitions and try to be quick and sloppy like you thought that was a good idea. It was not." And, I ended up third that day. And he said, "What'd that get you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Blah, blah.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the Become a Supporter or Become a Sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends. Yeah, no, it's nice that you have him, and he has such a good eye, so it's perfect that you guys can have that kind of, like, candid conversation about what you need to do to be the best and be your best. I kind of did something slightly similar after I had done so well at the World Show, and then my next show back, I don't know why, I just felt like I needed to rush everything. I thought maybe I had maybe more to prove, I'm not sure. Like, "Oh, they're gonna think it was a mistake." But then once I realized after one day of just rushing everything, I came out and my mom said, "Why did you do that?" Kinda similar conversation. You're like, "Oh, right, that's not who we are. Let's go back to what works." And,
Right.
it's funny, you just gotta stay true to yourself.
Yeah, and your mom's gonna be super honest too.
Absolutely. So when you won the world in the showmanship, what did that pattern feel like? And did it feel different than maybe other patterns that you had had with Marley?
I thought I won. I was
Mm.
very good. I walked out of that pen and I was like, they would be hard pressed to beat me. The only thing I thought maybe the judges would not reward me, to be honest with you. That was how I felt that day. I walked out and I was like, yeah, that was really good.
Mm.
And I was just hoping to God that the judges thought so.
So what was it like to go, because that win was last year, correct?
No, I was pregnant I didn't even go last year because I was very pregnant. So that
Okay.
was 2022. I won the world in the showmanship last year. I was pregnant, and this year we had our unfortunate colic.
Yeah, so what was, even though it was, a couple of years ago, what was it like mentally and emotionally for you to go through from the high of winning to now you weren't able to show last year, and then you probably had really high hopes for getting to show this year, and then that wasn't able to happen. What was that like for you mentally?
Um, a little bit of FOMO, right? Like the
Yeah.
fear of missing out, just not being able to be there. But when Sherry and Clint called and after the vet called in the middle of the night and said Marley had to have surgery, and then when they called again and said that she made it out of anesthesia and she was up and everything was fine, for sure Preston jokes because I'm a crier. Just that's just my nature.
Oh.
And my hormones are still all out of whack, and they don't apparently pregnancy hormones stay around a little bit longer than you anticipate. So he
Oh.
thought for sure that I was going to start bawling when Clinton Sherry called and said that you're out, she's out, she's got to have surgery, all the things. But I didn't because I was just honestly so relieved that Marley was okay. So I just took a deep breath and I didn't cry when Preston was like, "I'm so proud of you for keeping it together." And I was like, "Well, thank you. I'm proud of myself for keeping it together." I was just so relieved that she was okay. And once I kind of just got in my head that it is what it is, Meg, you're not going, you're not getting your $3,500 of entry fees back, you're not getting your plane ticket back. It is what it is. You just have to suck it up monetarily. You just have to suck it up emotionally. I was super jealous. I was watching every single pattern. I was just very sad that I wasn't there. I was very happy for everyone because everyone did really well. It was crazy that we didn't have a finals in the showmanship. I just thought that was wild. So disappointing, quite honestly, because I just feel like that's what makes, the world show, you know what I mean? But I watched and I watched, all the classes, really, the horsemanship, the trail, the Western riding, because I had a lot of my barn mates that were still there and my friends that I wanted to see and do well. So I just watched from my computer and cheered from home and still had extreme case of FOMO, but again, just super relieved that Marley is doing extremely well and I get pictures of her every day and she's just happy as a clam. So I'm very just relieved and I got to stay home and bring Noah to the fair and do stuff here at the house that I wouldn't be able to do. And that was honestly a little relief because it's such a tight transition from the Congress to the World Show, and even tighter when you have a 6-month-old baby. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
guys probably don't know what I mean because you don't have a baby. But I mean, it's just a super, you got home and it was such a whirlwind being at the Congress with Noah and then getting home, unpacking, going to work because I travel for work. So I got in the car, went to see all my clients, came back home, and then literally Tuesday I was supposed to fly out. So when we got that call Sunday that Marley wasn't feeling well, I was literally flying out in a day and a half. So it was just everything was flying so very quickly that it was almost kind of a little bit of a relief as well that I was able to just take a breath because it was going to be tight for me to switch everything and and kind of transition from Columbus to Oklahoma City in such a tight window anyway. But I was, again, very sad. Moral of the story, I was sad, super jealous, but very happy for everyone. Everyone did a wonderful job. And I'm just really, really glad that Marley's okay.
Yeah, we're glad that she's gonna be okay too.
Yeah.
So has that kind of lit a fire under you for this upcoming show season?
Um, yes and no. I mean, really, I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt and just hope that we can just get back and get her back to where she needs to be. So ultimately, I really hope that we come back really strong for our first show back, God willing. If everything goes well with her recovery and getting her back in shape and all the things. Yes, obviously, I want to come back. I want to come back as strong as we were at the Congress and, really, really be strong this year. And now that I'm back in somewhat a physical shape from being, out on maternity leave, that I can compete where I need to be. There is a fire in me to say, okay, I'm back and I hopefully get to compete in all the shows. I don't have to miss like I did last year from being pregnant and then obviously Marley's colic. So yes, there is a fire, but I also am going to take it with the fact that I need to be considerate of Marley and I need to just be mindful that she did go through this and it's no one's fault. It's just, on the unfortunate way the cookie crumbles. So
Yeah. So what are you doing to stay in riding and show shape during this time while she's recovering?
I have been going to the same gym now for about 5 years. It's a HIIT CrossFit type gym. So I'm not mentally capable of the type of CrossFit that Preston, my husband, does because, he climbs ropes and does push-ups on his head and crazy things of that nature. And I'm just not that person, but I do like to throw weight around a little bit. So I do a little bit more of a boot camp hit type CrossFit where we do, deadlifts and cleans and snatches, but we still also run and lunge and do abs and that sort of thing. So I try, and I use try very lightly because Noah does make it difficult to be able to get to the gym as much as I used to go. But I try to go at least 2 to 3 times a week. And that has really gotten me back to, I feel, not obviously as strong as I was prior to having Noah, but we're getting there.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pin anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and I'm here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride. Yeah, no, for sure. Tell us what it was like to rehab back physically from that C-section. You said it took 6 months. That's a very, very slow recovery process, and I would imagine that you've had to be careful about your recovery to not re-tear any muscles or anything like that. What has that been like?
So the plan was never a C-section. It was just supposed to be a normal vaginal birth. Sorry, gentlemen. But unfortunately, we got into a position where the cord got stuck over Noah's head and we had to get him out. So I bawled on the table, unfortunately, because I really, really didn't want a C-section because I knew that it was going to throw a wrench in my plan. Because you remember, I'm an A personality, and I
Yeah.
knew that it was going to create a whole bunch of problems for me because just in everything. So anyway, we had the C-section and then I had to have someone come and stay with me because our bedroom was on the second floor and I
Oh.
couldn't do stairs and I couldn't carry the baby. And it was just a whole thing. And eventually I was able, and of course, I'm also stubborn and hard headed. So I started doing the stairs probably a little sooner than I should have. And I started carrying Noah a little sooner than I should have. Then I started driving a little sooner than I should have. But anyway, I did all the things, and eventually when I got cleared, it was like a 6-week clear, and then I started going back to the gym and doing a lot of dead bugs and holding a medicine ball
Yeah.
and laying on my back and just doing a lot of just breathing exercises, holding the ball above my waist and just moving it from side to side and keeping my core tight, and then doing a lot of yoga positions and just really just trying to connect. They keep saying trying to connect your lower abs and your top abs because there's obviously different sections. And don't quote me because I'm by no means know anatomy well, but there's different parts of your abdomen that they cut open and you're trying to get them back to connect. So I'm just trying to get everything to connect again. And that's really what I've been trying to do. And a lot of walking and just everything that I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of breathing exercises and it really has helped. Oh, planking. Oh, lots of planking. High plank, low plank, side plank, you name the plank, I'm doing it. And I definitely think that that has helped. During class, we do a lot of minute hold planks, and I can hold it for 2 minutes. So I think I'm getting my strength
Atta
back in my
girl.
yeah, oh yeah. I'm getting my strength back in my planks for sure. But I mean, I definitely feel much weaker than I was, but I'm much stronger than I was when I first came back for sure.
I love that you said you were doing the dead bugs. That is like
Yes.
my one favorite, like, functional core exercise that I program for my clients. And then the second one is the planks. So I love that those are the exercises that you've been doing. I mean, those are fantastic exercises for you to be creating that stability again in your core muscles and getting them to work properly after they were kind of sliced open. So that's really cool that you've been doing all of those, and I'm sure that I'm sure that you feel so much different now than you did when it first happened, like, I'm sure that you feel a lot more stable, a lot stronger, even with simple tasks such as, like, picking up a box off the ground or putting up a plate in a cabinet or throwing a saddle over a horse, right? Like, I don't think we realize how much we use our core muscles until they're kind of out of commission.
You are 100% right, and I can't tell you, even carrying the car seat, and you don't know how heavy those car seats are. It
Yeah.
is so heavy, and then you put a baby inside it. Those
Oop.
things are extremely, extremely heavy, and when I first
Yeah.
started carrying him, it was so hard. I mean, and then doing, obviously, weighted farmer's carries. I do a lot of weighted farmer's
Yes.
carries because trying to carry the
Yeah.
car seat is very difficult too.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
those
that's a
things.
super good functional exercise for you to do because
Yeah.
it translates exactly to what you need to do, which is carry something heavy off to one side.
Yep. Look at me being a good student, and I didn't even know.
Yeah, you're killing it.
The first time that you got back on a horse, were you nervous that your abs weren't going to work the way that you wanted them to, or that you would injure something?
No. Honestly, I didn't even think about it.
Atta girl.
Oh, that's
I was
awesome.
just so happy to get back on, and I think the first time back, it was me and I think Blake was out in the outdoor, and I literally just kinda jogged around and loped around in a loose rein and maybe crossed the center and did some lead changes, and I think I rode for 15 minutes and just was just happy to ride. I really don't think I asked her to do anything important, and I was just happy to be on the horse. I don't think I was concerned about anything, and I honestly don't think I was sore either, now that I think about it.
Ooh, atta girl. That was gonna be my
But
Impressive.
at the premiere, I was quite sore, but it was because we were practicing and I was being conscious about my core being tight and, don't move when
Yes.
you're loping and keep your legs still and all the things, when you're being conscious of something, that's when my body was like, "Oh, you haven't done this in a while."
I mean, yeah, just going out for like a quote unquote hack is way different than, having that tight horsemanship position or making sure that your core muscles are engaged for like a trail pattern, something like that. Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
Were there any challenging parts mentally coming back from that as well?
Just that it wasn't my plan, that
Mhm.
still bothers
Yeah.
me, and I know it sounds really silly, but it wasn't my plan. I literally worked out until week 39, day 6, I was working out and felt amazing. It was a wonderful pregnancy, and we did all the right things, and unfortunately, it just didn't go the way that we wanted to, so the whole C-section thing just was had to happen to be safe with the baby, and obviously it's him first, and he's perfect in every way, so I'm so glad that we did what we had to do to get him out safely. I'm still bitter about it because, you know, it obviously set me back a lot longer than I anticipated. And now I have, a giant scar that I have to deal with and all the rest of the things that you have to do with a C-section. So just just kind of honestly pissed about the whole thing. But it is what it is. I'll eventually get over it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always considered is whenever I have kids, I'm like, "Oh, man, I really wanna have a plan, and I wanna be able to get pregnant at a certain time so then I can have the kid at a certain time, and I can be off for the right amount of time, and then I wanna do it this way so that way the healing is as quickly as
Mhm.
possible and work out." So, I can totally
And
relate to what you're
yeah,
saying,
and
and
then it blows up. Yeah, and then it blows up.
exactly. With most laid
Yes.
plans, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then it
I mean,
blows up in your face.
yeah, absolutely. What's it
Yeah.
like traveling with him? Has that been pretty good, or do you just have to plan a little bit more?
He's a pretty good traveling baby. He doesn't mind the car. He gets very annoyed come hour 4. That's really like his trigger. Hour 4, he gets pretty angry. That's when you have to send someone in the back seat. When you send someone in the back seat, he has someone that he can kind of talk to and play with, and you talk to him and you play with his toys. He's much better. Um, and we normally, obviously, he eats every 3 to 4 hours still, so we'll stop and we'll feed him and we'll get him out so he can kind of stretch a little bit and see the sights. And I have a nervous bladder anyway, so I have to stop to pee regardless. So it really is not anything different that we have to stop more often just because we normally have to stop for me anyway. So having the baby is really not adding any more stops, as my husband would say. But he really is a pretty good baby. Very good on the plane, very good to the paint world in Tulsa or in Fort Worth. He was really good going to the NSBA World Show in Tulsa. He was flirting with the stewardess. I mean, he's just pretty we lucked out. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy.
Oh, that's so perfect. He's a good little
Yeah.
baby, so you guys can have another.
I know, I know. I'm like, "Well, we did well with this one. Maybe we'll just call it quits."
One and done. You got
Yeah,
perfection.
the next one is gonna be like some sort of terrorist. Maybe we'll just call it quits.
Absolutely, absolutely. What's your schedule kinda look like? Do you wanna hit a lot of majors? Do you do a lot of schooling shows?
That'll kind of be up to uh Clint and Keith. We'll do the paint world with Roman. We'll obviously do NSBA Congress World Show. Those are always on the agenda. I really, really don't want to do summer shows in July. They're just terrible. And the older I get, the more I don't want to be out sweating in 100-degree heat, especially with Noah. You know what I mean? I've gotten to the point in my life, in my horse career, that I want it to be a pleasurable environment. Like, I don't wanna go show in a crappy place, to be fair. I know that sounds terrible, but I would rather go to Las Vegas or to the Sun Circuit or, to Lexington, Kentucky, where it's a beautiful location, where it's nice versus someplace that's not nice and it's 105 degrees and there's no airflow and there's no place around to cool off because it's really hard with the baby when you have to deal with that. And we don't have a bus or a camper or anything like that. And we have no plans to. That's just not, we have no idea. We don't own any of those. We've never owned anything. We have no idea how to drive them. So that's just not who we are. We're hotel people. Um, so I would rather just be in an environment where I can take Noah, we can go to the hotel, we can get out of the heat. So I'm really gonna push for maybe a horse show in April and May and June, and then see if I just can't take July and August, and then just wait for NSBA, and then wait for the Congress, and wait for the World Show. That would be my plan.
Yeah, it sounds like a really solid schedule, and then you get to hit the important ones and the enjoyable ones, and I mean, I totally agree. It's so much time and so much money that
Yeah.
why not go someplace great, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so I'm on board with you there. I'm a fair weather
Yes.
pursuer now too.
So, what would be your now that you've gone through this experience, do you have any advice for anybody else who has a big goal and then a wrench gets thrown in their plans?
Oh, goodness. Um, you just kinda you just have to roll with it. I think the quote I used was John Wooten: things work out best for those who make best out of the things, how things work out, something along those lines. You just have to take it with how it comes to you. No one ever plans for something like this to happen, but you just have to take it with what it is. It's no one's fault. It's a freak accident. And yes, unfortunate. Yes, it's a lot of money. And just be glad that your horse is okay. And that's just how I'm looking at it. There'll always be another horse show. And that's what I tell myself. There'll be another world show next year. There's still more globes out there to get, and there's still good runs to have, and I will go for them next year.
Where does your passion for horse showing and winning come from?
Well, my mom rode when she was growing up, and we started in 4-H, so she got me into it. And I think I just kind of stuck with it. And I think ultimately, because I do this on my own and it's one of those pride things, like I support my own habit and no one else gives me a dime. And this is all on me, that I'm prideful and I try really, really hard because I want to make everyone proud and myself proud, because I spend a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy, and I want to be good, and I want to leave a legacy for Noah or anybody else to say, "Oh, hey, my mom rode horses and she did a good job." And so I guess that would be my goal, is to say, "Hey, listen, here's someone who worked really, really hard and paid her own way, and you can do it if you just kind of keep your nose down and stay out of trouble, and it works."
Do you think that you appreciate it more because you work so hard for it?
Oh, 100%. Yes. And I'm not taking it away from individuals who do get help, because that's amazing. And I know that if I had family members who were able to help, they would. But I think being able to do it on your own, you just have a very large sense of pride and a large sense of ownership and gratitude for yourself. Like I get to do this, and it's just a whole nother level of, I don't even know the word. It's just a whole nother level of appreciation of the sport and appreciation of your horse, because you're doing this and you don't have to ask anybody else for help or permission or money
Yeah.
because you're the one that's doing it. So it's just like, hey, you call the shots.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
freedom
it's a
in the
very self-fulfilling journey. There's just something about it
There's
that makes
just
you wanna
something
work all
about
day
it.
long.
Exactly. It's something
Yeah.
about it that you just want to keep beating yourself up and trying again.
Yeah, what's that Clinton Anderson quote? "Horses are a drug, and you're either addicted to it or you're not."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think we're all addicted.
Yes, I know, I know.
Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up to date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.
I know.